question, because it all comes down to consent, right? Diddy's team is saying that these were consensual relationships. Obviously, the government thinks otherwise. So what are your thoughts, Safa? Could this change things for the future of the Mann Act or Rico?
I don't think it's going to change things. So these charges are specific to the factual elements or the factual basis or allegations that the government, finds to be true, believes to be true, based on the evidence that they've obtained. There are other provision cases not going to change that. If there's a case that has a fact pattern that is more appropriate, that deals with an underage individual or a minor, there are already statutes in place that address those specific allegations for fact.
Convicted in all charges. What happens to all of his properties and money? What's the question? What's the answer there, Tyler? I mean, what does he get? Well, what happens next?
Well, the government will start their asset forfeiture proceedings to see what property that he has should become government property. He may have to sell some assets. And those are all hearings where they're going to have to be litigating whether, houses, for example, that he recalls in using property that was used as evidence in this crime should be property of the government. So those will be lengthy proceedings, and he's likely going to pay a lot of money in restitution if he is convicted of property of the government, possibly sold off by the U.S. Marshals.
Charge Christina Coram after the case in the same way that they did with Ghislaine Maxwell. I mean, seriously, where is she? She is MIA at the moment. So convenient, don't you think? And I mean, this goes to show this person has obviously been following the case, Christina Coram, KK. So many of us thought that perhaps she's going to testify for the prosecution. She's going to be called and be maybe one of the star witnesses, or that she could be charged as one of Diddy's co-conspirators. And even if we go back to Lil Rod's lawsuit in February of 2024, there's that photo, and 2 tickets, please compare this. There's a photo of Diddy and Christina Coram, his former chief of staff, next to Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, comparing the two, comparing Christina Coram to Ghislaine Maxwell, kind of as the madam. And as we know, Ghislaine Maxwell was convicted in the sex trafficking scheme having to do with Jeffrey Epstein. So I'm going to ask you, Tyler, what do you think about KK? Where is she is the number one question, and could she be indicted in the future?
I think she probably has her own legal counsel. She's probably paying a lot of attention to this trial, maybe looking at her phone, seeing if it's going to ring, if she was going to be called as a witness in this case. But if I was her lawyer or a KK in the situation, I would be worried about her being indicted as well. They called her a co-conspirator. She's currently an unindicted co-conspirator. She could become indicted just like the woman in the Epstein trial. So absolutely, there's odds that she could be indicted. She could face her own trial and see what happens there.
I mean, who's to say? We talk about this all the time. Anything could happen, right? As far as verdicts, as far as an indictment. Some people thought that P. Diddy was untouchable, and yet right now he's in the courthouse behind me in a holding cell waiting for more information as far as a return verdict or anything like that. So really anything is possible. And we do say that KK is MIA. I do want to clarify that we did hear from her a couple of months ago. I believe it was back in March, where she made a statement. She kind of broke her silence after all of these Diddy allegations, after the indictment.
Gina made a statement too.
I have nothing to do with sex trafficking. I'm not part of it. So we did hear from her then. She made this statement to Rolling Stone. As far as where she is, I unfortunately don't have her on Find My Friends on the iPhone, so I don't know exactly where she's at. But hey, maybe somebody out there does. Now I have a